Can you hear me now?
There you
Oh,
are.
there you are.
Got you. Yeah, I can hear you now, Lance.
All
Happy
right.
holidays. Happy holidays,
holiday.
buddy. So, were you going to share your screen? I don't think
I'm
you
trying to
do.
do that right now. There it
You can
is.
share your screen,
Okay,
you can
buddy.
share your camera, whatever you feel like it.
All right. So I know you're real in tune with the gold market here and what your thoughts are, partner, going into year end. That formation breakout's going to be pretty bullish, right? And if we roll over, maybe there's one more shoe to drop to the downside. What are your thoughts? And I know you're a big follower of COT. What's the setup with commitment of traders now going into year end? I know they had huge shorts before the last leg down. Have they gone neutral in gold, or how are they sitting? And what are you thinking?
Well, no, they're getting increasingly more short. However, ever since March, you had a big expansion in open interest back then, and then these leverage players basically left the market when it collapsed.
Yeah.
In March. So the spec short position is not back to levels that you saw in February, oddly enough. Even though, price is obviously, much higher because, like I said, those leverage players never really came back after everything imploded. And, all that the activity was in ETFs for the most part in the gold market. But now the leverage players seem to be, returning to the market. And, I think I think the last time we talked, I can't remember when it was. I think we were undergoing a correction, we're looking for this to sell off down around 1750 or so. We got down to 1760, and my model actually gave a buy, on the turn. They're on the low, and it's been there ever since. And my expectation would be you are going to break out to the upside and head higher, into next year.
Okay. I think there was one jiggle that shook some of the bears out was that move in November when we broke out over 1920. And, that was kind of shook out a lot of bears and wasn't easy to stay short through that, was it?
No.
Okay. Because I was getting your stuff. So let's see. You have any price levels? Do the miners look good to you, or is it basically just bullion itself?
Yeah, I mean, the miners look good here. This is actually an hourly chart of spot gold, and as you can see, we're in this compression triangle.
Yeah.
And the breakout would be up around 1900. You had a futures expiration yesterday, and now that has passed, upside may now be uncapped to some extent, whereas it was capped before by the expiration. But with the dollar, I don't anticipate a big rally in the dollar. Until maybe later in January, just because it may be due for one finally. But I think
now there's a market that has some extreme sentiment, doesn't it? The dollar.
Yeah. Well, I mean, actually, you know what? I mean, according to the DSI, people have gotten a little more bullish on the dollar here recently, even as it, making new lows almost daily. But it's still weak against, the rand, the peso, the yuan. I mean, it's weak against everything. It's not just the DXY, which is 60% euro.
Right.
So
I was going to ask you about euro because the way I see euro, do you follow euro or just mainly dollar? Is that we're breaking out of a triangle. It's been about a 3-week formation. If you have a chart of it, and there's gold. Let's see what your chart looks like on euro. Okay. So that if you go to a little shorter TF, what's this, a weekly or a daily?
Maybe daily.
Go to a little shorter TF that we've been in. Okay, there you go. So we're trying to come out of this triangle and break out here. And I think the measured moves about, 3.5, 124. And I'm not an Elliotician, but this looks like a 4, this whole consolidation, which implies the next shot up in the euro might be a terminal thrust. Can you think of anything, any narrative that would be bullish a dollar? Because not many people could come up with a narrative of the only thing I could think of is possibly some risk off. Or how about that $600 is deflationary? It's not going to be enough. I bet if Jerome Powell had his say, this COVID relief package would have been much more robust. And then who knows when they'll be able to put together another fiscal package, and who knows what the makeup of the Senate is. So I'm thinking that, I think now any kind of economic news of contraction, instead of it being bearish a dollar, could be bullish a dollar. What do you think?
I would tend to agree with that. But although I will say with this, with the $2,000 checks now entering the mix, and the
You think
House
the Senate's going to pass that?
well, I think the odds are against it. However, because of the Georgia runoff, the Republicans are kind of put in a tough spot. If they vote against it, it could potentially cost them the Senate next year, which would then, ensure a much larger stimulus package from a Biden administration that has both houses of Congress. So it's an interesting spot where if they move forward with it, you're gonna get much more stimulus. If they don't move forward with it, you're gonna get much more stimulus, except probably sometime in February, March, from the new administration that then has both houses of Congress. So like I said, it's an interesting dilemma.
Yeah. Any other sectors of the market besides metals? I know it's one of your major focus. The big theme is that all commodities are looking pretty good. That it's embryonic. Grains have been acting good, and wondering what you're thinking in other markets. Wow, what's that?
This is the old the CCI index that used to be the equal weighted commodity index. It doesn't exist anymore, but this ETF it tracks it. So it's kind of the only represent. That's a bad.
So
tick.
really, we've been just like the stock market, commodities have rallied with risk on.
Yep. And everything's kind of lifted together, as the dollar's gone down, everything not nailed down has drifted higher. And that's kind of been the theme all year. And like you said, the one bad thing for asset prices would potentially be a dollar rally. And I agree with that.
Okay. A lot of some dollar bulls that still exist talk about something like the dollar shortage, that supply demand dollar shortage. Are you familiar with that bullish argument for the dollar?
Yeah, I don't really buy that necessarily.
Yeah.
As long as the dollar is the world's reserve currency, there's always going to be demand for it. But with the giant current account deficit we have, it's going to continue to come under pressure, I believe.
Okay. Are you hearing a lot of chatter? I brought it up in F.A.C.E today about the Great Reset. Do you have any thoughts, or what what people are putting out there that are talking about a Great Reset? If you believe there is some type of plan by, globalists, elitists, to take advantage of this pandemic and restructure things economically. I think we've heard from some IMF people and BIS people. Any thoughts on that, Lance?
I don't think there's any grand plan out there. I think politicians are basically, putting out fires as they arise, and they're not that smart.
So, what's a big play for 2021?
I think for early 2020, I think gold looks pretty good. Gold and it's probably more so silver. I think Bitcoin will probably continue to outperform, although it's probably due for a rest. It's gotten so hot here over the last several weeks. But, between now and April, I would anticipate gold's going to do pretty well.
Why do you say April? Why do I keep hearing April for, possibly the end of the stock market rally, maybe 3,900, 4,000 S&Ps into the spring. I've heard it from different people that, look at markets differently with different methods. Why are you looking at April?
Well, just on a monthly basis, it would be, looking at the past 40 years and gold prices and gold mining equities, it would be unusual to get a huge move beyond that without getting, some sort of rest. So that's, who knows exactly what's going to happen, but that area of time seems likely for some sort of high, potentially.
Okay.
Like
I remember in, the pre-internet days when, you had a quote monitor, you weren't getting things online, that there was traditionally a February break in commodity prices. And so that's pretty close to April.
Mm-hmm.
And that there have been some significant highs in the precious metal market in February. I know and remember, because I remember getting long one February and reading an article about how February is filled with heartbreak for gold bulls, and that particular year it was. Have you ever heard that seasonal tendency?
No, although there's an interesting statistic. Gold price was up 9 weeks in a row back in July, August, and that's only happened 2 other times in history. And in each of those prior times, gold was lower 1 month, 3 month, and 6 months later. So now gold has been lower 1 month and it's been lower 3 months later. 6 months is February. So what that would entail is, I think we've seen the low in the gold price, but if the historical precedents are to hold, gold cannot make a new high until March, interestingly enough.
Okay, interesting.
If that were to hold.
Okay.
But it can get real close.
Yeah. Okay. So you think this breakout of the triangle, when I look at gold up there, that was confirmed by momentum, the high up there at 2080. So maybe 2021's a year of $2,500 gold. Been a long bandied about target. Think that's possible? Huh?
I said, I think that's a pretty good bet.
Okay. Anything else you want to cover with us today? I know it's a quiet market right now, Lance. And
yeah, there's not with the year winding down. There's not a whole lot going on.
Okay. You want to show your website, how people could follow? And Lance did provide me with his interday updates, and I just have info overload. I get a lot of it, Lance, but I read it. It's good stuff. So people are interested in following Lance's work, especially if you're, a gold person. This is how you do it, right, buddy?
Yep, this is how you do it.
Okay. So I want to wish you a happy new year, Lance. I hope you and your family remain untouched in this poisoned air environment that we have right now, and that you have a great year in 2021. Glad our paths crossed, and want to thank you for coming here and sharing your views with our community.
Yeah, want to wish you the same. Have a great Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, buddy.
All right.
So that's a wrap, everyone. We'll have one more day to wrap the week tomorrow, and want to thank everyone. Sinatra saying thank you, Lance, and people are thanking you. And if you're still here, would you buy physical? Okay. All right. I think Lance took off. We'll see everyone tomorrow to wrap up the year. You're welcome, everyone. Remember, don't just count your pips, count your blessings. Okay. Deal? And join ForexAnalytix. Don't forget that. Adios, everyone.